Yeah, this is, I'm excited about talking about something that I've been discovering for a few years. As I said, this is kind of a live blog for me to go into different information that's changed my life on my journey here on planet Earth. Um, so I'd like to talk about something about time and the Mayan calendar, which I discovered back in 2011. Um, yeah, it was quite a trip to fall into that information. Um, it it changed my life because I started seeing the codes and the way that ancient ones would look at time, which is more cyclical and linked to our planets and our stars, versus the calendar, the so-called calendar, the Gregorian calendar that we use, which was put in place by the Vatican by Pope Gregory something in the 15th century, I believe, or maybe 16th. That, but I didn't really understand it, so I went down that rabbit hole and started decoding all this information about that the Mayans were talking about, and not just the Mayans, but a lot of the prophecies. There's like over 30 different tribes and even religions that talk about this. And so I just started connecting a lot of dots, and I couldn't sleep at night. I'd get up and I'd go online and I'd be watching these YouTubes from the Law of Time, which is a website you can go to that has a lot of information, like so much. It's a little bit mind boggling. But yeah, I was really into this, and I just went really deeply into this information that resonated with me because it was like perfect mathematical, um, just I don't know, it just made sense. So I started following this. By the way, calendar, the word calendar means debt registry. So that can give you an idea about why this time was created in the first place, to keep the people. I mean, we know that back then how much religion and, these institutions had over the people. And they were very impressive with their huge, cathedrals and sound acoustics and all that. It was very powerful stuff. They knew they were working with vibration and anyways, that's a whole other topic. But so I just want to. This is the tattoo that I got actually that represents. This is the Hunab Ku, or the galactic center. It's also known as the cosmic butterfly. And what's really cool is I pulled a card out before from here, and the card is actually the cosmic butterfly. So I think, all these little synchronicities and messages are encouraging me to speak my truth again, something that my world, what I've discovered and what I've been a part of. And I think it's safe to do that now. I think a lot of people are curious about knowing other ways of looking at the world, and not necessarily the one that we were born into and that we're supposed to follow, but the one that actually is in harmony with the natural cycles of time and the laws of, our solar system. And that as a soul traveling through space time and through these realities, we take on a human body for a little while, but then we don't know where we go. We don't remember. We don't. But we're definitely not just these bodies or these personalities or this culture. All of these things are constructs, and they help to, individuate us, which is great, and it's got a lot of beautiful things. Culture has many beautiful things all over the world. We've had a bit of a dominating culture, that's a whole issue with North America, and anyways, those are geopolitical issues that I don't really feel like getting into right now. This is more about cosmic time and our roles in that. And I actually follow this. This is a 13 moon almanac. And it's really cool because you can start to look at synchronicities and like note them down. So it's like a little journal about your, mine, my reality and my connections that I make that are sometimes, not obvious, but they're always around us. I mean, we can all connect to that. And that's what I do. And so today, for example, we have, I'm not going to get into all the details. You can look that up yourself on the Law of Time website. And there's a lot of information there about, you can find your galactic kin, which gives you an identity that is more galactic than human. And it's fun to do that. I'm a white solar wizard. And what we like to do is decode things. And I thought that was really cool because I'm also a graphic designer and I've always liked to put geometric shapes together and doodle like that. And, create from symbols, from geometry, create meaning from that. And I've always been fascinated by the crop circles and made certain connections with a lot of the ancient, like flower of life patterns. And, I used to have a spirograph when I was a child. I think a lot of you did it back in the 70s and 80s. And just to look at all the patterns that could be created from these very simple geometric shapes. And, the Platonic solids now, that's what is showing, is kind of creating all of this reality that we're part of. Pi and Fibonacci and all of this, this type of information. So today, for example, is white self, oh no, that was yesterday. Today is blue overtone eagle. And so you have like a kin, I'll show you over here. Over here. And that goes with your birthday. And you can plug that in and you can check it out. And then you have this like little mantra there, little that you can look at that gives you a certain kind of metaphoric, identity that you can, or an avatar identity, I guess. Anyways, all that stuff, it's a lot of information. I don't want to go deeply into it, but this is just to say that I've been looking at, alternatives to this reality, this construct for a long time. I think I actually, I feel like this is a part of why I'm here because, and I love this stuff. Like I would spend hours at any time I had free time, really looking into this, delving into this information. And what was really cool is that there's a rainbow bridge meditation that you can do where you imagine yourself kind of in the center of the earth as a crystal. As a crystal, I have a crystal here that I love to meditate with, and it's a beautiful shape. And you can connect to this crystal and then see yourself inside the earth and radiating rainbow colors up and out as a torus field around you. This is a meditation that was given by Jose Arguelles, the man who really downloaded a lot of these codes. So that's the whole, I'm not going to get into that whole story, but you can, if you want to look that up, you can. And if you already know about all this, well, then you know also about this meditation and about seeing ourselves as part of the planet of Gaia. And we're here to bring in a vibration and a light code that is very specific and unique to each one of us, but that all together creates a whole. So kind of like all the colors of the rainbow together turn into white light. So this is really cool stuff. And I was doing this meditation for many days in a row. And I don't remember which day, but one time I actually looked up after my meditation and I saw a rainbow in the sky. But there was no rain and it was a nice day. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, it looks like there's a rainbow right there. And so that was fun. And I also met, again, a synchronicity, the wife of the man who I've been watching all the videos. He's got, I don't know how many videos on this stuff. And I was watching them and I don't know how many I'd watched. And I told her when I was gardening with her about this meditation I was doing with the rainbow, and that I was watching all these videos, and she was from Mexico, so I asked her if she knew about this, and she looked at me and she said, "Oh yeah, actually my husband is," and so she tells me his name. His name is Michel Vec. You can look up his YouTube channels, and she said, "That's my husband." And so, I mean, these people are neighbors. They live like 3 streets away from me. And I'm gardening. This is my friend. And so I thought, wow, what a cool, like, beautiful, at that time I'd say coincidence, but now I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in synchronicity and kind of like a divine plan that is happening and that we're part of, and that we can pick up on those pieces here and there when we start to tune in to that. If we're always distracted and going out there and just, basically caught up in our regular human lives, we don't have time. And that's why meditation is so important, because that's where you can really tune out and tune in to your higher self. Basically, yog means union with the divine. And so when you do that, yoga, you're connecting to that source. And the more you do that, the more your world becomes, I guess the word is magical, or at least connected. You feel connected to everything around you. And that's certainly what's been happening in my life more and more. And it also means you go into some dark places to, as I mentioned in my other video, some initiations and stuff like that, which can be really painful and very difficult. And I mean, the spiritual journey it's a war. Part of you, I mean, for us, maybe as time goes on, it's going to get easier and easier, which I think it is. I think it already is, because the light that is coming in now from our solar system and the way the planets have aligned are definitely supporting us to lift our frequencies, to be in more of a loving, compassionate place. And because that is actually what has created this universe. Now, the darkness, this is a dualistic reality. So we have darkness and light, and day and night, and man and woman, and all of these dualities, or polarities rather. But what we need to do is understand that this is this created reality, and find that balance where we bring that together, and it's not a fight of one or the other, but just something that we transmute from a higher place. So yeah, you can hear the birds. That's the cardinals. They love coming in the backyard. There's a lot of food for them here, and I've created a little oasis with a diversity of many plants over this last decade. It's my mini oasis, and it's in the city, so you can also hear buses and trucks and all that happening all around. But yeah. So my next, I actually picked this book up this morning because I thought I'd like to find a little bit more information on the Mayans. And a lot of my books are packed because I'll be moving next week. So, but I actually had this one out, and I opened the page, and I happened on this page. Okay. The positive side of the Mayan prophecy. So a lot of people 2012 thought, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And again, we went through like the 2000 where people had and then Hollywood obviously picks up on all the fear, right? I mean, that's great. More movies on fear and war and all that stuff. So what the Mayans were actually talking about was the end of a cycle of time. So I'm just going to read this because it was so perfect. The Maya see that an ancient prolonged cycle of time is coming to an end. Both the 5,125-year Mayan long count cycle and the precession of equinox of 25,625 years. They predict that the old world, the one we live in now, is about to disintegrate from natural causes. This means that everything we know as normal will dramatically change. The idea that the physical pull of the Earth's axis is going to shift and humanity will be destroyed was termed doomsday in 2012. So we remember all that in the big movies, and and we did get tsunamis, and we got a lot of things happening. Some of them were natural and part of the cycle. Some of them might have been created. There's probably a mixture of that. I'm not sure of the exact truth of that situation, but we do know that there are, weather manipulation programs happening and things like that. So, that's our own, time will tell what extent, these manipulations have been happening for many years now. But what's really fascinating about this is that, like I said, there's over 30 different indigenous, so the Hopis, the Kogis, there's a list of them. They're not all here. But this book is actually the Mayan Ouroboros, and the cosmic cycles come full circle. So we are coming full circle. This time is that what they say is these tribes believe that there are 9 worlds and that we're about to enter the 5th world. And the Native Americans of both the United States and Canada also believe this. So yeah, it's also known as the 6th sun. So our sun is very activated right now. If you want to find some information on that, there's a great YouTube channel called Suspicious Observers. And what they do is they check out like what the sun is doing. It's, you know, NASA again is an institution, and it's, you know, it takes some and leaves some, but for regular people, they're not going to actually give real information. So there's a lot of, thankfully for the internet, alternative sources of information that we can find. So you do your own research. Again, you know, take it or leave it. I do my own research. Luckily I have a strong intuition, and I can feel if things, you know, seem on or off or that kind of thing. So the more you tune in, the more you do your yoga, meditation, and all of these things, the more in tune you'll start to feel with the information. So that is your own. That's why I call it embodied, you know, wisdom, because it speaks. And you know, you get goosebumps sometimes if somebody says something and it really resonates with you, or somebody says something that you were thinking and you're like, oh wow, you know, that's like you read my mind. And so these things are, and I think they're happening more and more to us because of these times that are accelerating, and the cycles of time are coming to what, you know, even Eckhart Tolle calls the new earth. And this earth is a higher light, higher frequency place that exists within us, that we are here to bring forth and create from ourselves. So it's not about changing the world or fighting the system. It's about really creating from that place of harmony within, so that when the world that we exist in also reflects that harmony. So that just came out, I'm not sure. But yeah, so what the Kogis say is that we have 5 more worlds to enter. He thought, Melchizedek thought that there were 5 more worlds, and they said no, actually everything is in balance, and the 5th world is the middle of the 4 worlds on both sides. It is the perfect balance within the universe, and there is no higher world. So we're really coming apparently to some beautiful place of balance. I like to believe this. I think, you know, it's always darkest before the light, or the storm, calmest before the storm, or then we're in the storm, and then after, you know, you do get the rainbow. But these are, again, contrasts of experiences that we're having. So it's not like right or wrong or good or bad, but just looking at the whole as an experience here. And how are you going to react? What is your responsibility within this, or your ability to respond to what is happening? So I think that's just something to think about or meditate on. So with opening this new unity consciousness, the Maya predict that the human quarantine to the solar system that has existed for thousands of years will be lifted through cosmic grace given to us by Great Spirit. And as it is lifted, humanity will realize that the stars and all life everywhere are intimately interconnected in living consciousness. The Maya are clear that we will be able to be anywhere in the universe in time, space, dimension, and size. But at this moment, this reality is beyond our imagination. So what the Mayan are saying is that what is coming is beautiful and sacred, and it's something to celebrate and to be grateful for. So breathe from your heart. You know, our heart is also the bridge between the 2 worlds, the lower worlds, the lower chakras and the higher chakras. And the heart is where we feel our world. We feel people around us. We feel the animals, the plants, the water. And so from that place, we we are more connected to everything. So that's why I call this, my YouTube is called Sun Heart Harmony. That just came to me too, and it just kind of connects through a couple of words a lot of information. So this information is alive in your heart, and you will remember everything has been prepared, and our new world is now ready to receive you. In Lakesh, I am another you. So, yeah. And then the next part is the birth of a new humanity. So I think a lot of us are feeling this, just feeling the intense changes, and have been following, you know, a lot of the more negative information. If you're watching TV, if you're seeing, like, you're like, oh my God, the whole world's falling apart. What is she talking about? Like, this isn't a beautiful world. It's chaos. There's disease. There's war. There's famine. But the thing is, this is coming to an end now. Like, people are realizing these leaders and these systems are not actually serving us. You know, pharmaceuticals are there to make money. They're not there to make you better. You know, I mean, let's face it. Everything's based on profit now. So, I mean, I'm saying this. You know, a lot of people are aware of this, but it's like, well, yeah, but what are you going to do? This is the system we're in. This is what we're in. You can't change that. Well, if that's how you think, then yeah, you know, that's what you say, then you can't change that. But if you start to think and meditate and visualize that world of peace and harmony and coexistence, you know, and sharing and cooperation, that we have plenty for everyone on earth to share, and not for just less than 1% to be, you know, controlling, manipulating. You know, those days are over. So the more we say that, the more we believe it, and the more we work towards building the world that we want to be in, then the more that reality gets created. So we actually do have the power, you know. The people have the power. I believe that. I didn't always believe that. You know, I had very dark nights of the soul. I had, you know, I had attempted suicide, and I was a drug addict, and I did all those things because I didn't understand how cruel this world could be, and it seemed like nobody cared, and it was dark. You know, it was a dark place for me for a long time. So I understand that those emotions, and I think it gives me that now, that better understanding and compassion for people that are going through very difficult times. And you know, suicide is no joke. It's a big issue, and I think because our systems are not serving us, and then a lot of people are left on their own to try to figure things out. And you know, so that's why I think everything needs to change with our connection to our soul, our connection to nature, our connection with each other, and the more cosmic cycles of time, which are also kind of indigenous worldviews at the same time. So they're ancient, and they're also futuristic. So they go together, and actually that's what the Mayans were too. They're time travelers. So I also picked a card. Now it's already my video. I knew it would be a longer one because this is a big topic, and I love this topic, and I'm gonna talk more about it in different ways. I'm not sure how yet, but whatever wants to emerge will, and I trust that. So this is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I love this one. And I picked the card that came out. So my question was, what information would be best to serve the today's topic that I'm talking about, and to anybody watching? So the card is called the Rattle. Voila. And I'm going to read just the essence. The rattle is the spirit caller, carrying the shaman's prayer to the 4 directions. The body of the rattle is like the earth, spinning on its axis. With the aid of the rattle, the medicine woman instills a desired destiny in her future. Closing with the prayer, Great Spirit, may your will be done. And I brought a rattle. The rattle guides us to pray for all the earth, not just for our personal needs. When we offer our prayers for the highest good of all, everything we need is provided for us. So just take a moment and visualize yourself at the center of our beautiful planet, at the core, in your own heart space, at the core of your own body, the 0 point. And take some deep breaths to go into that space where nothing exists and everything exists, and all the potentialities of reality are there. You get to choose from that place which reality you want to create. Energy flows where attention goes. So where is your attention? Where is your energy? Be mindful and conscious about that, and tune into that beautiful place, that sacred space of creation that is your divine right, your sovereign right as a soul here, as a creator. You could visualize yourself as beautiful colors, light, whatever wants to come through, or rainbow, a field of light surrounding you, surrounding our earth, protecting it, protecting all the beings on the planet. So thank you for being here and listening to me. And I wish you a beautiful day, and namaste. Ciao.